Hello, Sunday 22nd of September, and we're about to make a huge mess again. So we've been trying to move everything out, cover it up with this shower curtain, and round the back here is a little cave for Dave.
The aim is to take out the knee.
Take out this knee because we're...
Hang on.
Take out this knee because we're putting in two slightly smaller ones to have them on each side of where the chain plate knot is.
Right.
Hopefully we don't need to do any grinding, so the mess should be a little bit less.
Doesn't seem to be a bond.
There's a bit of grey just in there, that's the bonding stuff. But it was the fiberglass tabbing that was holding it rather than the bond.
Oh yeah.
So this is our third multi-cutter. We had a mains one first which burnt out when we were taking the original bulkheads around the aft cabin out for the doorway and so on. Then we had the basic Makita one. This is the fanciest one we've ever had, which is much quieter because it's brushless, I guess. But the disadvantage is it uses this star lock, which is much better. It's much better connection, it's quick release, but there's far fewer bits available. Although this one seems to be lasting quite well. So
seems to work very efficiently, I'd say. It's much better than the other one.
The good news in terms of tabbing in our new knees is that we've got this very thick tabbing here that is going to spread the load. So I'm even wondering whether we actually need to put some epoxy doing foam or plywood.
How it lines up, really, I guess.
We've only got to be just a little bit wider than that hole.
It's come out nice. It's come out much more cleanly with this new tool. I don't know, obviously your skill levels have improved, Dave. Not trying to suggest they aren't, but I say some of it is definitely credited to the tool.
A lot, yeah. Right, I'll just try. I think we want to get all the plywood out, and then we can just put some thickened epoxy in.
It looks like it might chisel out.
I think it'll cut quite easily.
Okay. Right. Oh, vacuum cleaner.
Obviously, I don't want to go through the hole.
No, you do not.
I think we should just let that tool cool down for a bit.
Okie dokie. That's good. It's looking better than, well, as we removed so much of it, more than we've managed before.
Well, more neatly and far less dust than we've managed before. So
my only thing about what you're saying about the tabbing is that it doesn't go perhaps quite far enough.
but it'll only be the tabbing that will be, it's the bulkhead itself will be where it's got the extra
yes,
thickness.
it will. That's very true. Yeah. So we just need more tabbing, a lot more to the left and a bit more to the right to hold it in. Yes, that is true. You've already got quite a solid.
Okay, my legs are all not working anymore. We'll take a break.
Yes.
And then
Now the
put some,
curtain's just fallen down.
some tape over it. I'm just worried about whether there's been a gap under there, but I think the thickened epoxy will flow into that reasonably.
Yes.
So this grey stuff was what they used so that the bulkhead didn't create a hard spot, and as I guess something to hold it in place while they were fiberglassing it.
Yeah. You got most of it out now.
Of that section, yeah. Definitely tabbing's very thin
Yes.
on this section, so it didn't need to be as strong. I'll just cut this piece now. We're just doing our first knee. Obviously it's got to go a fair bit higher. Pretty rubbish fit as usual. We're very bad at this.
I don't know. Cut the top off. It's probably going to be all right.
Well, we now have made a bit of progress. We have our two knees cut. They're reasonably good fit to the hull. I'm not going to zoom in close so that you can't see our poor quality of templating. You can see that the line in the middle on the hull shows that what we're replacing wasn't actually vertical. Use the laser level on these, they are vertical and they are at right angles to the bench side, so that we think visually will look better than the knee that was there. The three bits of wood there are just spacers to make sure that they stay parallel and at the right height. And at the top here you can see the knot for the chain plate for the cap shroud for the main mast goes where that's a bit lighter because we've drilled and filled the hole, and we will put the glass fibre tape that will tab this to the hull on both sides. Lots of extra reinforcement around the ribs to transfer loads right across the hull there, and we will put glass fibre that goes up, across and down with a backing plate so that the loads pulling up the deck do get transmitted properly to these knees. Right, knees are in place. I've got a bit of a fillet in various places. I'm going to interject a bit here because we forgot to film it. In between these two new knees you can see a shiny white bit. That's where the groove was from the original bulkhead. What we did was grind and sand it out to get rid of all the plywood and the grey glue filler stuff that was used. Then we painted it with thin epoxy, filled it with thickened epoxy and laid glass fibre tape over the top of it. As you'll see, that then gets covered with more layers of glass fibre tape so that we are doing a strong bridge across the gap between the two bits of tabbing. Back to the footage. just so that they can be held nice and firmly. Once that's set, I can take my 3 bits of timber out, and then we can tab it in properly and put the fiberglass over the top there, and we will be done. Hi, it's the afternoon of September 26th, Thursday, and Jane has been doing the painting of the undercoat on the mizzen and other mast bits this morning. That's a long dry time, so we're back to do work on the knee. This is port side. The cap shroud comes in through that lighter bit there, so the big knot will be under there. I've fiberglassed yesterday the outside on the aft edge and the outside on the forward edge. I put this triangular piece of pine with thickened epoxy and then fiberglass around it so that it gave essentially like a big fillet. Done that on both sides. Minimum of 3, often 4 layers of glass fibre tape, as well as the thickened epoxy fillet down those edges, and they are very solid. Very happy. Today we're putting a fillet on the inside of both sides and glass fibre tape again to do the inside edge all the way down, and then at the top here we'll put thickened epoxy fillet on both sides. I think because it's easy to work with, we might put some tape to go round like that, but we will also put some fiberglass to go round like that, and then we're going to put a bit of FR4, thin FR4 onto there below the fiberglass, which means I think that when the knot pulls up, that thin FR4 will make sure that the fiberglass that comes down to the knees is spreading the load neatly down to the knees. Therefore, the deck shouldn't go up, basically, and this is already going to be far, even if these are not brilliant, tabbing's not brilliant, compared to the original, which was one bulkhead with a bit of stainless steel bolted to it. This is going to be a lot stronger and better at diverting the loads down, because each of these could only be taking half the load. And yeah, I think that we'll coat all of these in epoxy as we finish to make sure that they are watertight. All the edges have already been, hidden edges have already been sealed before they went in. And especially when you think, whilst on this port side it came all the way down to there, on the starboard side the equivalent bulkhead for the chain plate only came down as far as that first stringer. We will repeat on that side what we've done here. I'm confident that this is going to take enough of the loads off the cap shroud. The aft lower is just by this bulkhead, so that bulkhead will take the loads down to the hull, and the forward lower is by this bulkhead. Now we had to cut a hole, as you can see there, because of where the knot is. We will put a plate on the far side of that as well, partly because we don't want a hole into the heads compartment, but also to make sure the loads from the knot on the forward lower get transmitted down that bulkhead. Okay, so I'm gonna get Jane to mix the thickened epoxy first, get those fillets in, and then we are good to go. There's my epoxy mixer saying cut, cut, cut. You've been talking too long.
Yeah.
Get mixing then. Bye. the end of our week's inverted commas holiday. Let's see what we managed to achieve. We have our knees fiberglassed on that edge, all up the inside and round there and on that edge, and they're going nowhere. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave us some great comments. Thanks, bye.